So hey Lawn Care Nation, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks now since I've had the Exmark Commercial 30-inch mower, the S-Series model, and a lot of you guys have been DMing me and asking me how I like it so far on Instagram. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the mower and how the first 3 weeks have been in using this every day in my lawn care business. So first off, it's been really an awesome mower to use. I've really been surprised at just how much I've really enjoyed using this mower and how much time it's actually saved me in using it every day. I've been able to use the mower on every property that I would normally use 21-inch mower on. In fact, the first week when I first got this, I also took the Commercial 21 with me because I didn't know if this wider mower would actually fit in a lot of those tight areas that I have to get into on customer properties. But after the first week, I saw that I was able to actually get this in to even the tightest and narrowest areas that I have, at least on customer or client lawns. And I was able to, the following 2 weeks, just leave the Commercial 21 at home and only have the Commercial 30 with me, along with the Staris and the Turf Tracer on certain days for certain lawns. But for the most part, I've done probably about 90% of the lawns in my business now the past 2 weeks with only this Commercial 30. In fact, I think it's about 5 lawns that I've been doing with either the Turf Tracer or the Staris 32. So it's been a really huge game changer for my business, and that time savings is the thing that I noticed right away. For example, today it's Thursday. Normally I'd be done work, getting home probably between 5:15 5:30 each week, and today I was done at 3:30, and it's just strictly from using this mower. It's the only difference that has happened, and I've noticed that consistency in at least saving at least an hour each day on each of the days that I've taken this on instead of using the 21-inch mower. So that has been a huge game changer for me. A lot of people have told me that this mower doesn't mow wet grass, that it bogs down, that it clogs up, that it generally is awful in wet weather. But that's been completely not the case for me, at least. I've had no issues with it in wet weather. It's mowed fine, it's bagged fine. The deck does clog, it does get grass accumulated under it, but no different than a 21-inch mower. Once this fills up, in fact, with this mower, it feels like it's actually more powerful than the Exmark Commercial 21, which I know is completely strange and doesn't make any sense because both the Exmark Commercial 21 and this Commercial 30 both share the Kawasaki FJ180 engine, so it makes absolutely no sense. I know it sounds like I'm talking crazy, but this particular motor, for some reason, it just feels so powerful compared to the Exmark Commercial 21. I've had no issues in the rain. It hasn't even bogged down with the lawns in the last 2 weeks, and we've had crazy amounts of rain this past June. In fact, they said on the weather forecast that we've had record amounts of rain compared to normal. And I've been joking around that it's felt more like January than June because of the amounts of rain that we've been getting. And like I said, it hasn't had any issues. The deck, like I said, it has filled up, it has clogged, but it wasn't anything that made me have to stop to clear out the deck or anything like that because the engine was bogging down or anything. The engine just kept going, and I was able to keep mowing. And it was only at the end when I would finish a lawn, once I stopped the blades with the blade brake clutch, that grass chunks and stuff would fall off out of the deck. But other than that, it would still bag lawns. Obviously not as much when it's wet because some of it gets caught under the deck. But overall, I've been really pleased with it. Now, like I said, I'm not disputing that other people are having issues in the wet weather with theirs, but it just hasn't been my case. I just have not had those issues as of yet. And I was talking to a local guy actually that's had these for many years, different models, and has had issues with them in the rain. And he was talking about the same sort of issues and stuff that he's had with it in that wet weather. And you know, I was telling him, well, maybe it's just because it's so brand new that everything is so tight on it, all the belts and pulleys, everything is just working like clockwork, that it just has no issues right now. Maybe that's something down the road that as the, you know, components and parts and belts start to wear, that you know, wet grass becomes more of an issue. But right now I'm just not seeing it. And you guys have seen the videos. I've done videos on bagging for this, I've done videos on mulching, I've done videos on cutting wet grass with it. I've tried to document every sort of step and situation. So overall it's been really a great mower thus far. It's not completely without issues. I did have 2 days where the motor started to act up, the Kawasaki engine, and it was I started to, you know, was mowing lawns with no issues, and then all of a sudden the mower just started to die, like it was running out of gas. Of course I checked the gas tank, it was full of gas. Pulled the cord again, it started right away. I started mowing some more, it died again after a few minutes. I cracked the gas cap and noticed that the motor started to ramp up again. So it was definitely was a venting issue with either the fuel cap or the venting system for the fuel. And I noticed it more and more during the rest of that day, and then the following day it did the same thing. The only difference was, instead of the mower dying, I noticed that once it started to sort of choke out, if I let go of the blades to stop the blades and take some of that load off the engine, the motor wouldn't die off, but it would sputter, and it would give me enough time to open the gas cap, and then that would let the RPM kind of settle as the air was able to get back in air into the gas tank, and then it had you know, it would keep running. I tighten the gas cap back up and then continue to mow, and then the problem seemingly disappeared. And it's been about a week and a half since those 2 days, and I haven't had any issues with it, with that problem. So I'm not sure exactly what that was about. So like I say, so far it's been really good. The maneuverability of it, the mower is obviously heavier than a commercial 21. This thing weighs in at about 177 for pounds. So it's about 60 pounds heavier than the commercial 21 or your Honda HRC 216 type commercial 21-inch mowers. But it's still very well balanced as far as weight goes. All that weight is on those rear big wheels. So it's very easy to just push down on the handles and lift up the whole mower, like completely effortless to do. Also very effortless to pick up the mower with one hand. Because like I say, all that weight is on those rear wheels, so that makes maneuvering the mower very easy, because it's very easy to pivot. So like I said, even with one hand, it's very simple. To pivot the mower. It's not an issue at all. I've heard a lot of people complaining about it being you know, more tiring and fatiguing to maneuver, that it's cumbersome. And you know, it is a bit heavier, and the first few days it was a challenge to get used to, but now it's like nothing. Using this on a daily basis for, you know, 90% of the lawns I'm doing, you get very used to it, and I'm able to just whip through lawns very quickly with it. That maneuverability is not an issue at all. So some of the things I really like about this mower so far are the big sort of semi-pneumatic tires. They're not a hard plastic tire. They've got some give to them, as you can see there. So that, and they're you know, quite a bit wider in the rear than the front. So all that weight is balanced on those rear wheels. I haven't had any issues with rutting, which was a huge surprise for me so far. Even, like I say, in this sort of record wet month that we've had, there's been no issues with rutting with those tires. Has been really surprising. I really like the rear height adjustment super simple to use. In fact, I don't even adjust the height on the front of the mower because it is a bit more cumbersome to deal with, having to pull the levers up and take the actual physical wheel out and put it in a different hole. So I usually leave those at about 2.5 and then mow the rear at 2.5, but there's some cases where some lawns, I drop the rear to about 2, and that just leaves a nicer, cleaner cut for a particular situation or particular lawn, or some lawns where it might be taller, and I can lift that up on the rear and just leave that front always set at that 2.5 setting. It has been working really, really well for me. The cut quality has been overall fantastic. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen the photos that I've shown of this thing striping, and it does a phenomenal job. It's got that rubber flap on the back bottom that you can see just under there on the bottom, so that really helps out with the striping and just leaves a really nice cut for this mower. Like I say, bagging has been fantastic. It can bag the clippings in there very, very tight. That's one thing I noticed with this model over the Commercial 21. If you look at this one here, it's got a smaller opening. The overall bag is bigger. It's a wider bag. It fits a lot more. But on this bag here, you can see this sort of top cutout here. It's actually a lot smaller than the Commercial 21. The Commercial 21, that cutout sort of comes up to about here. So it's a bigger top opening, along with this section here, where this one comes here. The Commercial 21, it comes to about there. Makes dumping clippings with the Commercial 21 model a lot easier. So this one, because that opening is just a little bit smaller along the top there, and because it does such a good job at packing those grass clippings, sometimes they're just in there, and you go to lift it and dump it into like a bin or something, and it really takes some shaking to loosen them out, or sometimes I got to reach in there and pull out some of the clippings to get that whole rest of it to fall out. So it does an awesome job at bagging lawns. Like with the twin blades, when you turn them on, the amount of suction sound that you hear sounds like it's going to, like a helicopter, like it's going to take off or something. It's just so powerful in the suction sort of sound. So it does an awesome job at that. Side discharging, I haven't used really, other than the video I did for demonstration. And the mulching I've been impressed with, and I've actually used it now on a couple lawns. Use it for mulching, and it's been really good as well. So overall, that's my initial impression so far after 3 weeks of using the Exmark Commercial 30S series. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of the Exmark Commercial 30S series, or you have some other mowing scenarios you'd like to see me put this more to the test at. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.